Welcome everybody to our December 20th, 2023 Bruce Township Board of Trustees meeting. Can we get a roll call, please? Here.
Pratt.
Here.
Giorgio.
Here.
Tremblay.
Here.
Crappy.
Here.
So we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Has everybody had a chance to look over the agenda? If so, is there any deletions or additions anybody would like to make?
Nope.
Anybody want to make a motion? Go ahead and approve the consent agenda as presented then?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. Support.
Motion by Lisa, support by Susan. You can do it all in favor, right? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? None. Motion passed. Okay. Everybody like the hall? Looks pretty good. Kenny's been pretty hard working with the lights out there again. You know, decorating. Still wants to put more up.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, there's more maybe. You know, he did a good job. It was nice. All right, we'll move on. So there is a section here, we have comments from the floor. If there's anybody that would like to speak, we would appreciate if you'd go to the podium, state your name, your address, and keep your comments to 3 minutes if possible, please. Therese, yeah, go ahead.
You're up.
You got a suntan? Have you been down in Florida or something? You look like you got a suntan.
No, but I'm letting my hair grow out, so it's affecting the way my skin looks.
Oh.
Anyways, Teresa Vito Smith, 11364 Covered Bridge. I have a couple of comments. I'll make them quick. They are items that are already going to be addressed on the agenda, but just in case that you're not going to take any comments, I'll make them real quick. So the first one was under the unfinished business. It's the tower. In case, and I think I must have missed it at some point, in case it doesn't get addressed, I'd like to know what the actual cost is going to be for that electrical power, and if the school is going to be paying for any of that. I know that they have a monthly fee they'll be paying, but are they going to be paying for any of the electrical hookup? That can be addressed at that point when you get to it. And the second one I have is on the last year special land use. And I don't want to address this one in particular. I just want to make a general statement about a special land use. I did look at the board's package. I did look at the area view of that property, and I hope that someone addresses why they would need to expand so much that they need a special land use. It looks very nice what they have there, and it looks, the outbuilding that they have looks fine, but if that could be addressed as to why they feel they need that, that would be great. And that's all my comments. You guys are doing a great job. Thank you.
Thanks, Therese.
Thank you.
Sir, you just walked in. Did you have a comment at all that you wanted to speak on behalf of? Okay. Welcome to the meeting. Okay. All right, we'll move on to us.
Is that Bob?
I think he's in disguise.
Yeah.
Oh, is it Bob? Yeah, he's got a hair.
He's a low
Oh,
profile sitting in the back.
welcome, Bob. So, okay, we don't have any hearings or reviews, so we'll move on to item 6A, which is the Romeo Community Schools Tower Agreement. So this wasn't before us before, and as what this is that there was the Romeo Community Schools asked if they would be able, if we would give them permission to go ahead and add a repeater tower to the top of our current tower we have on Hip Road. And the reason that they wanted to do that is that there's some areas in the community where the school buses they lose radio communication with the school buses, so this would eliminate that from happening. So going back and forth, we didn't feel that there would be any kind of a problem with that. There is they do need power for it, and what we're going to agree on and what we're going to either approve or disapprove tonight would be the agreement that we did make or that was put together, the power for the repeater, we had Metro Electric, the guy, the company that actually did the install for the electrical for it, did a breakdown on the cost of what it's going to take to run the repeater tower. And basically, it comes out to $26 a month or $311 per year. And we don't feel that that's be something that the township should pay for. It should be something that the school would pay for, so that's why we broke that down. I think that's going to come in an annual payment to the township. Is that what the agreement was? And then, so that's the agreement you have in front of you, pretty much. So that's the cost, is $311 a year to run the repeater. Does anybody have any questions on the tower agreement?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Can you address the question that Therese answered at the beginning, like who's paying for the actual work being done? The changes?
What was that?
There's a cost, there was a cost quoted to actually do the work, installing one new meter and all that. Who's paying for that? The $73.40 and $1,500.
So that's all paid by the schools.
Okay.
There's nothing out of pocket for the township.
And then I know the money's not a lot on what they're paying for electric, but I don't like the way it's worded, because DTE does increase the rates occasionally, and the only way you can change the amount is if it's mutually agreed to by the parties, right? Well, it shouldn't be mutually agreed to. It should be if the rate goes up, the price should go up. So I don't like the way that's worded. I don't know if our attorney looked at it, but just looking at me from a purely a business standpoint, it shouldn't be mutually agreed to if the cost goes up. It should just automatically go up.
So the agreement was a cooperative agreement that was put together between the township's attorney, Bob Siebert, and also the Romeo Schools attorney.
Yeah, well,
So that's where the agreement came up. So you're looking at paragraph 1?
yes, the addition.
So we can,
Yeah, they have it, they said it's approximately $26 per month, or $300, $11 per kilowatt. And then it says, based on the foregoing, the school district will pay $311 per year on August 1st. Okay, that's all fine and dandy. But the end of it is, unless mutually agreed to by the parties in writing. I don't think that's the right way to word it. It should be unless the actual cost or the rates change, then the payment would be adjusted accordingly.
so we want to,
I agree with that.
Yeah.
That was the one issue I had
Right.
noticed in
Right.
there as well.
Right.
You don't want to get into the point where all of a sudden, 2 years down the road, that we have an agreement and they're paying less than what the actual cost is.
Right.
Then it is our taxpayers paying that money.
so let's put together a statement. We can maybe approve it with the changes then?
With the
It's not delayed?
recommended changes
Yeah.
as
So
discussed.
what is, let's say we would eliminate that last sentence.
I would say unless the actual cost or kilowatt changes, then the annual amount would change accordingly. In other words, you don't need mutual agreement to change. I don't like mutual agreement on a cost increase that's a pass-through. Shouldn't, that's not the way it should be worded.
So the actual cost or kilowatts change, the agreement would change?
The amount to be paid will be adjusted accordingly. Then all you have to do is just show them that, just show the school that it's changed, and then the amount changes. You don't have to have a mutual agreement by the parties,
The actual cost or kilowatts change.
or kilowatt
unless-
rate. Then the annual amount will be adjusted accordingly.
So this is going to be paid on an annual basis at a one-time payment? So is this something that we're going to try to reconcile every year, or is it going to just go from 1 year
That's
to
what I
the next?
noticed, there's not a.
Well, they
timeframe.
pay August 1st, right? I think it's for the term of the agreement. I'm assuming that there's a,
Yeah, we don't have the
do we know, can we isolate what this is? Or is this,
time frame?
no, can we isolate the charge that we get for that, running that particular piece of equipment?
He was broken down by the specifications on what it would take to run the equipment, which pretty much, a lot of what you see, they determine it off of that. And again, Joe Brewer from Metro Electric, I mean, he's
Yeah.
very well known. That was the purpose of it.
Unless the actual cost per kilowatt rate changes, then the annual amount, then the amount will be adjusted accordingly. They're waiting on this. They came and wanted it signed, and I said, well, we haven't voted on it yet, so I was gonna take it tomorrow, so maybe I can.
And just run it by Bob real quick, I don't think you'll have an issue.
Yeah, Bob will make the change. Okay. Is everybody agreeing on that?
Yep.
Good. Okay, I'll make a motion, go ahead and approve the agreement as amended by Mike's recommendation.
I'll second.
Second by Mike. If there's no other discussion, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes.
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 Teresa, does that answer your question?
It does, thank
Okay.
you. That's what I was looking for. Thank
Welcome.
you.
Let's move on. I think Claire is here, so we can move on to item 7A, which is our, under new business, Washington Bruce Romeo Parks and Recreation Master Plan. We have Claire Russell, the Director of Parks and Rec, to go over it. Welcome, Clara.
Hi.
Hi,
You're really
Clara.
making the rounds.
How could the traffic be that bad from Washington to here, huh?
From,
Oh,
Terrible?
crazy.
It's terrible.
It- Well, I brought a copy of the
use-
outline. Do you
oh.
want? Or I
Is the
can
one
do
that was in our packet?
We,
No, this is, the packet probably had the
The actual master.
100 pages. Hi.
Okay. That's fine.
if you got them,
We had talked about it being on the,
Yeah,
but
and I
yeah,
forgot.
sure.
That's fine. Thank you.
Thank you, Claire.
100 pages.
Thank you. I got two.
I have two.
Oh, do you?
Is one of them for Star? Or
No,
Nothing?
no.
Nothing. Anybody else want a copy?
I think I had.
Stacy?
Yeah.
I've heard this before.
Sorry to bore you, but anyways, Claire Russell, Parks and Recreation Director, thank you for having me. The master plan for Parks and Recreation is from 2024 to 2028. There is a full hard copy, which you got in your packets, but I want to let the residents know that it is also on our website and at both of our desks at our offices in Romeo and in Washington, if you'd like to come in and see it. Basically, this is just a very brief outline of what's in it. On the second page is our introduction. Besides parks, facilities, and programs, Parks and Recreation really is here to improve the health, mentally and physically, of the residents of Romeo, Washington, Bruce, and I think that we do that respectively on a day-to-day basis. We are also here, we help improve the house values. Even if someone never uses our department, their house value just improves from all of the activities and programs and events that we have to offer. The community description, Romeo, Washington, Bruce is 74 square miles. We're on the northwest corner of Macomb County. We are part of the M53 corridor, which obviously makes us very attractive, as we all know. The Parks and Recreation Department serves Romeo, Washington, Bruce, and the surrounding area residents. Anybody from the surrounding area is welcome to come to any of our programs, but there are non-resident fees that do apply to them. Over the last 10 years, from 2010 to 2020, there was 11% increase in population. The biggest demographic that is with retirees, 30-something, and preschoolers. So knowing this, we know that there's going to be a continued increase in population, new commercial and residential developments, and then obviously because of all of this, we want to make sure that we reserve as much green space as possible. Flipping on to our administrative history, Parks and Recreation was started officially in the 1980s. We have had a 4-year millage ever since that date, and coming up in 2024 will be our next 4-year millage that we will be asking the residents for. And in 2022, as everybody is aware, we went into a different agreement. The interlocal agreement was established between Romeo, Washington, and Bruce. So the idea of that, or the whole update of that, was to let the residents make the decisions about what was best for the community. The idea was to keep the political differences out of the decision-making in regard to any of the recreational needs for our community. From that came the 5-person commission. Currently, will be 3 from the Washington Romeo area and 2 from the Bruce Romeo area. The director, myself, sees the day-to-day operations, and from that we have 5 full-time staff and approximately 12 permanent part-time staff that work for the Parks and Rec Department. For STAR, we have, just as a side note, we have 1 full-time staff and then approximately 30 permanent part-time staff. Our budget is basically made up of our development, our improvements, our maintenance is one portion, our administrative, or what it actually costs to run the department, another portion, and then the programs, which, flipping to the next page, kind of shows you our millage covers those costs that we had talked about, the operation, the improvements, the developments, the maintenance. Program fees and sponsorships are paid for. So program revenues pay for program expenses is really how it comes down to. And then grants. We haven't had a lot of grants. We've had some in the past, but we look forward to having a lot more going forward. We are also working with an engineering company now, which is going to open up a lot of doors. This master plan is one of the things that we do need to actually apply for a lot of the grants. So we will, this will actually open the doors up for that. We have 2 community centers. We're using the Romeo Community Center, the Washington Township Hall. Part of that is an activity center that we use. We have 2 fitness centers, 2 senior centers, I don't know if I said that, and then we have 6 parks with various amenities throughout the 74 square miles. Our facility inventory, the parks that we have in Washington, Gilcher, Chrisman, Washington Township Park, and now the Memorial Park. In the Bruce Township Romeo area, there's the Bruce Township Park behind us, Crystal Diamond Sports Complex, Orchard Hills, and then the Romeo Community Center park that is around the building. There is the Romeo Village Park and the Trailside Park. There is a mistake on this paper. I had put that the Trailside Park by Clinton Street was managed by Romeo, but is actually managed by Macomb Orchard Trail. Within the document itself too, not on this outline, there is a list of the other available properties that when we talk about green space, those are the things that we're going to look at and the places that we're going to want to have future developments or conversations about. Putting the plan together, the plan has been in a process for about 1.5 years. The commission's been working with a group called McKenna. Our public master plan meetings have went over the last 1.5 years. We've had several of them. This tonight is a presentation. I've went to Washington and to the Village of Romeo and then tonight. So hopefully we can reach out to as many residents as possible. So if they want to take a moment to look at the plan, or if they have any ideas or thoughts, that they can reach out to me, and then I can bring it to the commission. Part of the general area of standard that McKenna had found, it shows that we need in this area, is we need tot play areas, as well as a lot of courts, tennis courts, pickleball courts, basketball courts. All of those are incorporated in this. To the level, we're going to have to work as we go forward to get to the level that they're asking for, but we have to start somewhere, so. And then we did a community survey. We sent out postcards and reached out through our Nixle communication programs, and we got about 400 and some residents who actually did the survey, which is a small number, but fairly big for when you do a survey. And from that, the wants and needs that really came, they talked about splash pads and pools. They talked about an updated fitness and community center, and then a dog park, as well as a variety of other things. And that survey also can be found on our website, and it's part of the master plan itself. So going through the next, I think, 6 pages, breaks down each park. A lot of the things that we are going to do, we're going to do at all of the parks that we're looking at. We're looking at water stations for dogs and for people, security cameras, permanent restrooms. We're kind of going to make that jump. We've always used Don's Little John's, who has been great as far as Porta Johns, but we all know that a permanent restroom is a lot better sometimes. But with that, when you add things like that, you have to look at the entire infrastructure of how we are made up. Right now, we have a few very part-time or permanent part-time staff that really, they go out, they do the garbage, they do some mild maintenance and things that need to be done, but we would really have to look at possibly a full-time maintenance person or furthering our permanent part-time staff for maintenance. So that would be something that comes with that. Again, the top play pieces, those are incorporated in each of the parks that throughout the Romeo Washington Bruce area in this plan, as well as permanent storage, and then turf to playgrounds. This year, we did do the accessible playground at the Washington Township Park. It was very well received. The turf is the best way to access anything. I mean, our parks right now, they have the accessible wood chips that kind of melt together, which are absolutely accessible, but you can't compare when you compare it to turf. So again, this is something new for our community, so we'll be watching how it fares over the next year or so. But one of the ideas is to make all of our playgrounds at least accessible to get to the apparatuses, and then whenever it's time to rebuild, add accessible features as we improve on those. So Washington Township, it shows you that. Within the plan this year, there are pickleball courts and also shade. We are looking at this time, there are bids out for that. The Gilcher-Chrisman Park, which is also an outside sports complex. Extra large pavilion is being looked at there. Paving of the road, possibly making a second driveway or splitting the entrance because it is so used so that people can get in and out easier. Adding lights to our ball fields. That's one of the things that we're looking at also. With the community ball fields that we have, if you add lights, it's like adding another ball field. So you get that much more play, following obviously all the light rules that there are. Bruce Township Park, we are looking at connecting the path back there. And again, the water stations, the top playground pieces and the things that we had talked about. In Bruce, the Crystal Diamonds, we are looking at possibly adding a walking path out there. Again, the lights on the ball fields. Orchard Hills Park. Orchard Hills Park is going to be all about security and then finishing the project that we started this year with repaving the basketball court. We'd like to fence that in. We also drew a pickleball court on the basketball court. So a fence would make that a more valued piece of amenity there. And then we have Romeo Community Center. Inside, we need to look at really doing some updates on the large wall separators for the multipurpose rooms, updating some restrooms, the wood floors, and then outside to lengthen the sled hill is one of the things that we really want to do on a safety measure. I mean, it's safe, but it's very fast right now and very steep. If we make it a longer, fast run, I think it'll be better for everybody, especially the parents who have to climb up all the time, back and forth, so. And then other general things which are in our plan include, again, the engineering company that we've incorporated, keeping up with the infrastructure. Again, the people are asking, they want more, we need more gym space, we need just more space in general. Washington Township is growing out of their space, so we're losing that over there, but we still need all of those programs to happen for those senior centers over there. But overall, what's next right now? It's changed a little bit as of today. I was gonna say that next month, I would like to ask if the township could sign a resolution adopting the master plan. But according to the lawyers, or we're just finding out that we all know that we are our own entity now. But so apparently the Parks and Recreation Commission will be the ones who are doing the public hearing and signing the resolutions going forward from this point. So I'm here to just let you know what's happening, obviously, because it's all in your community, and to answer any questions, and again, to let the people know, whoever's watching. So if you have any questions.
Just want to emphasize on one thing, the Romeo Orchard, or the Bruce Orchards, or
Orchard
Park.
Hills.
And because of the incidents that we've had just recently out there, I know it's already listed as a high priority with the lighting out
Yeah.
there, but we could definitely get something done sooner than later on that.
Right.
You know, so
Yeah.
that we can make some of the local homeowners around there a little happier.
Yeah, I think that, there's just been a lot going on over the last few years that some things have got stopped a little bit, but we have our momentum now and we're moving forward.
You guys do a great job.
Thank you. Thanks. Did you have a question?
We have the chair, Commissioner Chair in the
Yes.
audience
Mr.
also.
Billock, thank you.
Claire, do you have the master plan with you?
I do not have the entire document.
I had some questions on the master plan itself, and then a couple questions on your presentation, if you
Okay.
don't mind. First of all, Merry Christmas to you,
Thank you, you too.
and thank you for providing this to us, and you're right, we don't have to approve it anymore.
Right, like, those are
You
the
guys
things
are
we're trying to
chartered.
figure out,
Yeah.
yeah.
Our obligation is to collect the millage, give you guys the money, and you guys,
Right.
your commission kind of provides you with the guidance. On page 49 of the plan, there's a picture in it that's rather dated.
Oh, okay.
And I know there's one gentleman in the picture that's no longer with us, hasn't been with us for a number of years, passed away.
There's probably, what picture is that?
It's the
Is it-
one,
One that's on here.
this one.
Oh, I know, but it is a favorite. There's a few people on there, and it's just a good picture.
Okay.
But we can update it, I guess.
Updated with the current staff.
There we go.
And then,
picture.
I know.
'51, there's a task 7. I was going to ask, if you don't have it, I can read it to you. It says, once consensus was reached among the Parks and Rec department, the plan was recommended for approval at the Parks and Rec Commission meeting on. The Township Planning Commission held a public hearing on. So I don't know, these don't have to go to this task 7 doesn't seem to apply.
Right. Yeah,
So you're-
those
you're
are the
familiar-
empty spots. I think that
Yes,
McKenna had
there's
just
empty
left
blanks,
there.
but I don't know if you even need to go through that process.
Right.
Okay.
Highlighted for that reason.
It is, like, so this was from, because McKenna had did our last one, so they had left that in there, and the draft is
That probably applied with the.
before.
the
Yes.
new interlocal. Page 53. Page 53 it's called Parkland Acreage and Facilities Analysis. And there's nothing out here with pickleball on it. Pickleball's like the fastest growing sport in the country. I just wondered why that wasn't included. It's like a projection of what you needed with the population change, like how many play lots do you need? How many
Right.
basketball courts, but there's nothing on pickleball, and I just wondered.
So you see the tennis courts, tennis and pickleball kind of go hand in hand.
Okay.
And they are, as I was kind of talking about before, like the courts are the ones that we need. And, okay, tennis players won't like the fact that I pushed pickleball and vice versa together, but they are pretty much played on the exact same thing, just a smaller version of it. Even in Washington, right now, everything is combined there. But that came from like a standard of,
Okay, so
But I think
your
we can-
pickleball courts are included with the tennis court.
with the tennis, but maybe that needs to be listed, or it can be,
And you had also said with with a few basketball courts as well?
yes, that should be on that list,
Okay.
the same list that
Thought
you're talking
basketball
about.
was on here. Yeah.
Basketball is
Basketball
on there,
is
but
on
just
there.
the pickleball courts will be associated.
And
with the
volleyball
basketball,
is needed
volleyball.
too.
Yeah. Okay. Then on page 62, I had a question. Let's see.
Page 62, you said, Mike?
62 of these.
Yeah, page 62.
Under goals and strategies, it says pickleball courts.
Pickleball courts under Washington Township, 400,000 is allocated, and it's rated high. And then the funding source is G, G, F, and M. Not sure what that is. General fund?
Those are general fund grants.
Oh, grant general
I
funds?
think there's a
Maintenance,
Millage,
key
I
at the
think.
bottom.
Yeah.
Oh,
millage.
not on my outline.
Oh, I see,
so-
millage, grants, and general fund, okay.
Yeah,
I thought I understood that there were pickleballs being built or planned to be built
there are,
in Washington at the township
at the Washington Township,
Park.
yes.
Okay. And I thought I saw at one of the meetings, they were arguing about the direction, so that.
Yeah,
with the
yeah,
sun.
well, and even the prices and everything, it's really just under discussion right now. I mean,
Okay.
the bid is went out and we had bigger
So no
prices come
firm
through.
decisions have been made?
Nothing,
It's
no.
actively being discussed?
Yes,
Okay, thank you. And then there's a splash pad in here for $1 million.
it could go up to $1 million. The wants and needs, or that the 5-year capital, are ideas that are put out there that are possibilities.
But it's rated high, that's why I asked.
Well, it depends who you talk to, how it's rated high, but it has been, because it was on the survey, and that really was on the very top of the survey of the people that had filled that out.
Okay, so it was high from the survey. Mm-hmm. Because I know that there was a splash pad being considered
Right.
going years back,
There was money collected through like a
over 10 years ago.
subgroup of the Kiwanis Club, yeah. And at one point, it had looked at, or it was looked at being here. Again, lots of things
There's
make
a lot,
those-
there's a lot with the splash pad.
Oh, there absolutely is. And those monies actually went to the library, to that play area that is at the library now, because of the fact there's a lot that goes with the splash pad. But it is something that is being looked at, so.
And then on the survey, I looked at page 27, this is just an observation. Is that, the question was, do you have children who participate in Parks and Rec programs? And 70% of the respondents did not, so.
Right,
your
which is
respondents were
interesting,
very
though.
skewed towards people without kids.
Right, well, it's whoever did the survey. It's the people who have the time, and I don't know, like, a survey is the last thing on my list because I've got a lot going on. However, it is interesting that they're the people that put the splash pad and some of the things up there, which I was kind of shocked about because of that.
Because it wouldn't apply to them probably.
Right, yeah, I mean, unless they want to, take their grandkids or what have you to one, so.
Skating ponds. I know we haven't had the weather for it.
Right. Wish we have the
Are we
skating
planning to
one.
do skating ponds this year?
We have, well, actually, behind us in Bruce Township. We are doing that one.
Okay, are we
That
doing
is-
any others, or,
Nope,
okay? 'Cause
No.
I think the longer-term plan was to put a pavilion big enough to go over a skating rink.
right. Which is, again, being looked at and bid out for Washington Township,
It's actively
Gilcher
being-
Park.
Gilcher, yeah. I think that's a great idea.
Right. And you know, if you look at this plan too, it does really look heavy in Washington, where all of the developments and the things, but we knew that. I mean, this is something that we've talked about, it's where the population is at this point. Not that Bruce's or anybody on the north end is being forgotten, it's just, we know we need to build there.
Right. I did have something else. Oh, of all the things that are in the, for each park, there are some things that are being actively discussed right for the next budget year, correct? Like the pickleball courts, lighting.
Right.
Do you know which ones, could you identify which ones in each park that are being actively looked at? I mean, like Mike's very interested in Orchard Park, right, to put some lighting in there, right?
With the security cameras, so all of the parks, the security cameras are being actively looked at. The lighting for Orchard Hills Park, I'll start with Washington.
Okay.
With Washington, again, the water fountains, the dog fountain, the security camera, the electric sign, that is, again, something that's moving fast. Pickleball courts, pavilion and/or shade. Permanent restrooms, I don't think that will be this year. Probably just those upper, well, and some
Top
walking
five.
paths. I'm sorry, what was that? The top 5, but the walking path connectors are gonna move to, they'll move up once something gets built, because then we need to connect the paths
Sure.
that we already have there. So just kind of depends on.
Okay,
Yeah, the top playground pieces won't be, it'll probably be next year, fitness stations. Then if you go to Gilcher Chrisman, again, we're looking at the pavilion
Yep.
right now. Permanent restrooms and the permanent storage kind of come hand in hand with that. The water, that's got to wait for the water to go through. There's a lot of things that, again, that have to happen. If we're going to move the water from the road to move it to the pavilion, then that's when the drinking fountain will happen there. The driveways. Could I ask you your question again? Did you say
I'd like to know which ones are actively being looked at.
actively being looked
for-
at?
for, like,
Okay,
the
so
current
yeah.
budget year.
The pavilion, and like I said, we went through those, but that's the biggest one there right now in Washington. But if the pavilion comes, then the security cameras come. We are actually doing some fencing though, too, that might have to move up when all that gets built. That's what's hard, is trying to decide what's high, medium, and low. I'd almost rather it just be out there. We have 5 years, and then because they move around, nothing stays. Bruce Township Park, connecting the walking path, we'd like to make okay, I gotta do the furthest, where's my east? That way, west. So the northwest side of the park, we'd like to connect that so it's a full circle that goes around the park and goes around the soccer fields. The security cameras here would be a lot easier because there are buildings and the electric is already here. That's going to be actively looked at this point. Crystal Diamonds, we would absolutely be looking at installing lights on fields or looking for grants in the near future. I don't know if this year. Orchard Hills Park, pretty much everything on Orchard Hills Park needs to move along faster, at least the high ones, the electric, the lights, the security cameras, the fence around the athletic court, the basketball standards, which we had talked about with the Kiwanis way back when. And then we also have some maintenance things that have to happen up in the front, in the ditch area, which aren't on here, but that's just because they're a little bit more maintenance-y than anything else. And then Romeo Community Center, we will be looking at updating the indoor restroom this year. Actually, all of those for inside the community center, those have been put on hold. And I would like to look at lengthening the sled hill this year as soon as possible. Again, with the drinking fountains and the dog fountains. Playground piece, probably start there. And then the other general, that's kind of vague, the engineering, that has already started, but that's kind of gonna, what I would like to do, instead of just like pinpointing, I think that the commission has kind of talked about that we're gonna sit down and really look at this plan and the parks and incorporate how we incorporate this plan with the engineering company, so. The splash pad, it's high again, but it's not now, unless a miracle happens. And somehow, we need a dog park, but we need a place, and there really isn't like the best viable place in any of the areas that we have right now, so. I don't know if I 100% answered your question the right way, but.
No, you did quite fine, thank you. I do have a question. The Romeo Community Center building, do we have a lease with them yet?
No. We are working on the Romeo Community Center. We need to get one with Washington Township, and we need to finish the schools or re-update it. So we're kind of stuck on all of those things. Can't say stuck, but there are committees that have been meeting. We
Because
know.
depending on the structure of the lease will determine who's responsible for what. For example, you do a normal commercial lease, the lessee would be responsible for leasehold improvements, but building maintenance is responsible for the lessor.
Right.
So-
The biggest problem is that we've been in that building forever, and anything kind of stopped. We fixed problems for the last 5 to 10 years instead of taking the initiative to kind of keep up to par. So, and some of it, and that came up with the parking lot, you know, it's a huge capital expense to do. However, we're the ones that ruined it, you know, not Parks and Rec, but everybody comes, they use it, and it's just the way it is. So it has to be fixed. And, you know, those are
But
being
moving
negotiated.
forward without leases either in Washington or
Right.
Romeo Community Center, it's kind of like, what are you responsible for? Because you don't know what the lease structure is.
Right.
So it's, to me, it raises a question is,
No, and the only reason that we don't have a lease right now, though, is because the name changed on the whole
the name changed
interlocal.
a number of months ago. I mean, we
Right.
reviewed a lease here, and the biggest sticking point was the guarantors of the township. So we created this independent organization to
Right.
get away from that.
Right,
And I understand the reason that they had it in the past is because Parks and Rec was new, they didn't have any money.
Mm-hmm.
Parks and Rec has money now. I'd say they're thriving, healthy financially.
absolutely,
So there's
because we
really
haven't
no
been
reason for
doing.
that provision, so I don't understand why that was a hangup to begin with, but I wondered if you guys have gotten beyond that with Romeo in particular.
I think that there are a lot of things happening right now that we need to get the commission back to a 5-person commission so that these meetings can continue. I mean, again, nothing's an easy answer. I wish it was.
Okay. No, I didn't imply that it was easy.
Yeah,
I was
right.
just my concerns and
Yeah.
observations on that piece of it. But thank you very much.
There's been some determination on the south building, I think.
Yeah, the south building went back to
Right.
the
Village
village,
Road.
Okay.
so.
No, we're no longer.
Well, we're using the storage areas, so either we're gonna do some trade for the storage areas or have to pay for some storage, which it's like a workroom, and a very tall workroom. It's been very handy to us. They don't need it, we need it, so,
Yeah, my closing comments are, thank you for what you do.
thank you.
Thank you to the commission. Thanks, Bob, for chairing that commission. And I do watch meetings once in a while, and appreciate the progress you guys are making.
just a reminder, Claire, at the Orchards Park, that you're going to be needing to replace that culvert at the road.
Right,
Which I'm thinking by minimum is going to be 10,000.
yes. That's in the maintenance part of the budget, though. But, yes.
Thanks, Claire.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Claire.
Thanks, Clara.
Thank
Thank you.
Christmas.
Okay, let's move on to item 7B, which would be the 72100 Lossier Road, the Rotarius SLU. We have David Ripokas in the audience right now. He's the homeowner. So, Mike, did you want to go ahead and take this?
Why don't you go ahead first, and then I'll take it. You want to give a brief statement?
My wife told me to come here and listen to what's said.
Or if you prefer not to, I can do it
Yeah,
for you.
If there's any questions that I can answer for you, I'll answer them, but
Okay.
How about if you answer Teresa's question, what did you need the storage facility?
I have about 4 vehicles that are all stuck in my grass, and I want to put them inside. I'd like to work on my boat, and I like to work on my recreational stuff too. And being out there, the weather, I have to fight the weather all the time, and I don't, it's either rain, too much sun, or what I'm going to do, I want to neaten the place up a little bit.
Plus, there is no garage with the house. There's no attached garage or there's no detached garage. This is their only facility to store things.
Yeah, right now I considered that a garage. Right now in there is a tractor, snowmobile, ATV, and I have a little wood workshop in there as well. And so when I put the boat in, there's no room at all to do anything. And I'm just asking for a little more space. I thought that was a garage all the time, but I didn't know 10 or 15 feet away from the house, it's called a storage building. So I need a little bit more room.
Okay, so I just, the original submission was to build a separate building. And we, with building a separate building and counting the existing building, it would have put, I think it was about 3,000 square feet. And the allowable is 1,700. So we had a lot of discussion back and forth with the applicant at that time. We tabled it. They came back the following month with a different proposal, which was to add on 900 square feet to the existing building. By adding on 900 to the existing building, it put them about 15% over the 1,700 square feet. I think it was 1,900 plus is what the resulting building would be, not including the overhang, 11-foot overhang, which we normally count as space. So if you'd have counted that, it would have been much more over. But what we did is we came to an agreement with the applicant that they would not enclose that overhang area with walls, because that's normally our concern, is that overhang becomes part of the building. So they agreed to that, and the commission approved 6-1 to approve it. So if there's not any questions, I will make a motion, but I'm going to make it a little different than what was made at the planning commission to kind of, I'm going to say, structure it so that the conditions of the approval are first, and then the rationale and how we came up with the decision after. So if there's not any further questions, I would go ahead and do that for you if you want.
Yeah, I know you guys did send the homeowners to the planning commission. I met with
Planning
your wife, Lori.
administration.
Yeah. Dana and I both met with Lori and see if we could figure out a solution, and that was the best solution that you guys went back home, kind of refigured things out a little bit, and that's kind of what you proposed. And we brought it back to the commission, and commission recommended, basically recommended to go ahead and approve it at 7-0 vote, right?
It's 6-1.
6-1.
Yeah, one person said.
We do, for the record, I'd like to state that we do have three letters from residents that live in adjacent properties, and they're all in favor of
Yeah.
the approval.
Yeah.
And And I don't think there's anybody here that's going to speak in against it.
And I think there was, that one of the letters stated that Paul Okanowski was against it. He wasn't against it because he had called me a couple of times. He just wanted to make sure that the Planning Commission stuck to the ordinance, not that he was against the building. Thanks, that for the sweet chair. So I would move, make a recommendation to the board to approve the special land use for the addition of the assessor building at 72100 last year. That the expansion be 900 square feet. And it would be on the, is it the east
Yes,
side, which is the back of the building?
Yes, the back
So
of the
it's not visible from the road. That the materials match the existing structure. And that the existing overhang, which is used as a chicken coop, will not be enclosed by walls. Those are the three conditions that the Planning Commission. And our rationale in approving this, because it is about 15% over our ordinance, is that, number one, is the applicant does not have a garage, and this is used as a garage. And number two is it's on 4.21 acres. And the ordinance is for anything from 2 acres to 5 acres. So if he had 0.7 more acres, he could actually build a 2,700 square foot structure. So he's like 0.8 acres away from that. So from a proportionality standpoint, we rationalize that the 1,900 plus square foot building, resulting square foot building, meets our standards for granting a special land use for this property, for that building.
Was that your motion?
That's my motion.
Support.
Word recommendation in there? Make, or you just want to move?
I'm not, it's not a recommendation.
Yeah.
We recommend at the Planning Commission.
I thought-
I'll make a motion here that we approve.
Okay, support.
Motion by Tremblay, support by DeGiorgio. Open for discussion. It looks like the motion's exactly pretty much what Vincent had made at the Planning
I
Commission.
just positioned it a little differently in that I pushed the no attached garage as a rationale and pushed the existing overhang up a sentence.
Yeah, it says no attached. I'm just going to,
Because when the Planning Commission does it, they should revise this to show the three conditions and then the rationale.
it's on the page 4 at the top. It shows
Yeah.
the 3 conditions.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if it would be easier for Anne Marie just to copy the other
What I would
motion.
do is move where it says 3, where it says the existing overhang related will not be enclosed by walls. Move that sentence in front of, this is tied to the fact that there is no attached garage. Do you have that number 4? Or at the top of page 4? I would just take that one sentence that starts with 3 and move that in front of the prior sentence so that the 3 conditions are named first and then the rationale provided is last. And I appreciate the homeowner and our planning administration getting together to come up with something that the planning commission can approve.
Worked out real well.
Yep, that helped.
So we have motion by Tremblay, supported by DeGiorgio. If there's no other discussion, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes.
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 Motion carried. Motion passes. Mr. Rapokas, thank you very much for coming in. Appreciate it. Good luck.
Thank you for helping me.
Congratulations.
Got any questions, feel free to come on anytime.
Thank you,
Thank you.
and good evening.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
You okay, Teresa? Need something?
We answered your question.
Yeah.
You're doing amazing. Yeah.
We're going to move on to item 7C, which is ordinance 161. Mike, this would be,
Yes.
you.
Just a little background on this. This is one of the elements that the Planning Commission has been looking at with respect to our industrial district to, make our industrial district a more attractive place to bring in the best developers to come to our township. And one of the things that some of the existing landowners of our property out there is outdoor storage. So what we did is we took a hard look at this based on the concerns, and the main thing that we've got with outdoor storage is we want to limit how much of it there is, and that it's ancillary to the existing business. In other words, it's just not a place to throw stuff. It's ancillary to your business, and there's a limited amount of space that you can use related to your business. And if it gets beyond that, we do have an allowance in B, 4, and 5, where in the commercial district, if it gets beyond what's required, they could come to the Township Planning Commission as a special land use. So at least we get to look at it before it's just automatically approved. So we looked at commercial and industrial storage, and we believe that this revised ordinance is in line with the direction that the township would like to take with making our industrial and commercial districts standards a little bit better to attract good clients to our district. And I would say that we are attracting clients. There's more building in our industrial district during our term than I think there was in the prior 3 terms combined. So we are seeing a lot of activity. And this is just to keep that activity going. So I would make a motion to approve amending section 161-4.40 of our Bruce Township zoning ordinance as presented.
Support.
Motion by Tremblay, support by DeGiorgio. Open for discussion. I had a couple of questions, Mike.
Sure.
I mean, I appreciate you guys doing all the hard work at this, and I watched part of the meeting where you guys went back and forth on it a lot, and I mean, I'm firsthand out there having to deal with it, which I'm sure you're aware
Right.
of, because
Yep.
we just were out there the other day again.
Yep.
The maximum height that is on a fencing, is you're showing is an 8-foot tall fence, which is gonna, our maximum height currently is 6 feet.
Correct.
So this is gonna just,
This is for outdoor storage.
Okay, not gonna be for not gonna carry over residential, and then
It's for commercial industrial.
Then the style of fence is what you're showing is no chain link fence, which a lot of what we have currently is chain link, I think, out there. With, I think it also, with the chain link, we have the wrap, is that the wrap, the cloth that goes in between and kind of shades it,
Right.
which is a lot of what we already currently have. So how are we going to do that?
If it already exists like that, any changes in ownership, they would have to change.
In my personal opinion, I mean, I
You
don't
think it should be different?
it doesn't look,
We could
I think
change it here.
what we have, I mean, the way they've kind of sheltered it or shaded it so you can't really see through the fence, I think it's very appropriate, even though it is chain link, but I'm afraid that the wrought iron or simulated wrought iron, it's going to leave so many, so easy to see inside.
What section are you looking at?
So under number 4 was the height of the fence, and then under 4B would be the,
It's a minimum of 6 and a maximum of 8.
right. So 4B is a simulated wrought iron.
Yep.
I mean, just the chain link part of it, I mean, we're talking about our industrial district, and
Are you proposing we change something? mean,
I would like to,
that-
I think that the chain link would be, I think with what we've got going on out there with, I mean, you saw a couple of those buildings, we've seen that there was storage behind them,
Yep.
and that they did have this, they did have the chain link with the wrap through the chain link.
So what section would you want to change then?
It would be
4B?
4B and 4D.
4D? So how would you want to change D?
D, we would have to say chain link fences with slats or wraps are permitted. I think almost every fence we have down there that is.
It says they are permitted, except where they're not permitted, where obscuring fences are required. Where are obscuring fences required?
Okay, maybe I'm getting it wrong. Chain link fences with slats, wraps or other obscuring attachments are not permitted where obscuring fences are required.
It's kind of wordy, but
Can we clean that up somehow, Mike?
What would you prefer? You're saying they are permitted
Correct.
and just get rid of the rest?
Yeah, I mean, that's all we're looking for, the chain link fence with the slats and the wraps
Okay.
Are
I'm good with
permitted,
that.
you're
need
saying?
any of
are
that?
permitted. That's
Well,
pretty
chain link
much what's down
fences
there
with
right now.
slats wraps are, let's see.
And I guess the definition of wrought iron, I mean, the way I'm kind of seeing it is our cemeteries have what we call a wrought iron fence, correct? Simulated
Two
wrought
of them,
iron.
yeah, on the front of it, yeah.
So are you
Just
saying
kinda-
take D out completely?
Well, I think that the wrought iron is not really going to be very much of a privacy thing as far as,
Well, it's more expensive too, isn't it? It's kinda
well,
cost-
simulated, yeah.
Well, you're talking about aluminum fencing. Aluminum decorative fencing.
Simulated wrought iron is
Yeah,
what
it's
he's
like,
got,
looks like wrought iron, but it's, because wrought iron costs a fortune.
right?
You're looking at. maybe
Aluminum
like-
does too.
Well, yeah, but it's less than wrought iron, I would think. I don't know, based on what we've been seeing. Yeah, aluminum fencing is expensive as well.
So here's the reason D is in there. D is in there because of B, because it says when the fence faces the roadway and is located within 50 feet of the right-of-way, then the design of the fence shall be, it says decorative such as simulated wrought iron, which I think you have an issue with, but it says obscuring. So what we're saying is the chain link fence can't be used where obscuring fence is required.
That's in, you said, for,
Yeah, because 4B requires that if it faces the roadway and is within 50 feet of the right-of-way, then you have to have an obscuring fence. But you can't use chain link. You have to use some type of other obscuring fence.
okay, so basically, I would agree on that part of it. Maybe it would be a little bit more decorative or a little bit nicer. But is that going to give, I mean, that, if you're
But
going to,
if you think we should get rid of the decorative such as limited wrought iron on the place that, where it's 50 feet from the right-of-way, on the roadway, I'm okay with that.
my main objective is that just so that you cannot see through the fences
Then why don't we get rid of
easily,
it?
you know, because you know there's a lot of stuff behind some of these
What if we got
ancillary.
rid of decorative such as simulated wrought iron, just made it obscuring masonry wall of brick or poured concrete?
Okay.
That
would
work?
definitely help.
And then do we leave D alone then? Given that we changed B?
Well, D's still kind of funny how it's worded. It's like
Well,
not-
it's saying that you can use chain link fences, except you can't use them where the fence faces the roadway and is located within 50 feet of the right-of-way. So if it's that close to the roadway where it's very visible, we don't want that type of fence.
Okay. And yeah, if you kind of really look into it, you can kind of see that. But yeah, okay.
You okay with that?
Yeah,
So we'll leave D alone and just change 4 to get rid of decorative such as simulated wrought iron in B.
okay.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah, those are my 4 questions, Mike. Okay. So can you amend your motion, Mike?
Yeah, I'll amend my motion to accept the amendment to section 161-4.40 of the Bruce Township zoning ordinance as amended.
Frank? You want a
Support.
second? Supported by Frank. If there's no other discussion, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes.
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 Yes. Thanks to all you guys, all the hard work you guys are doing, making nice improvements on the planning commission. So, we're going to move on to item 7D, which is fire department ARPA funds. I have to use it. Chief, gonna take it.
Yep. Chief's
You're up,
gonna-
Chief.
So we currently have, it appears to be that we currently have somewhere around $35,000 remaining ARPA funds. In that, as I started digging into it and asked Susan to pull, assuming these are the minutes from the meeting, it was allocated strictly for Station 1's overhead or bay doors to be replaced. When I looked at that, I actually had a company come out. I said, we need everything replaced that's dented, corroded. Bring it up to speed. We got a quote of around $3,000. It was replacing like all the bottom panels that were corroded. It was replacing all the lines, greasing everything, replacing wheels if that needed to be done. In that quote was not included was maybe painting on the outside, because some of those do need painting. So I was asking if I could obviously use those funds for other improvements, because it's been allocated strictly for Station 1, 5 doors, bay door replacements. To use it on other things, we could paint. There's painting that needs to be done on the outside of the building. There's some steel work that needs to be fixed on the outside of the building. The tower on the top needs to be fixed. We need carpeting. So I'm in the process of getting more quotes on various things at Station 1. And was just looking to see if you guys would approve. That would be okay, that I could use those funds to continue improving on other things instead of replacing all 5 bay doors for $35,000.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see a problem with it. It's going to good use.
Is it that we've already allocated 35,000 for the bay doors?
Yes.
Correct. And I believe that was done. What do you think?
Well, we
Couple
talked
years
about
ago, last year.
Last year.
So December possibly of last year,
Yeah.
based on what notes we have here.
So, Chief, was that for quote 1A, 1B, and then the third one, the 34, those were 3 separate quotes for different doors, correct? And what is the total amount that you're looking to reallocate? I'm just trying to understand, I'm looking at this sheet that
On
said.
this sheet, is that on the second page?
Yeah, that was on the second page under fire
So
stations.
the quote that I have was $34,750 to replace all the bay doors. When I had the company come back out, I said, I want these doors like if they were brand new, other than painting, because the company does not do that. We received a quote of roughly just under $3,000. And that was for Station 1 and also Station 3. Some minor repairs at Station 2. So that quote actually included all 3 stations.
It's a big difference.
So that's
So you
like
actually got 31,750
about approximately.
unallocated from that.
Unallocated from
Unallocated, okay.
what we believe is $34,750. I have to confirm that with Rhonda.
Okay.
It possibly could be 33,000, because that's the number that keeps ringing in my head was approved. This paperwork shows 34,750 though.
So that money just went a lot farther than.
Right, so there's, regardless of those numbers, 30,000 of it could be used for something else. There's carpeting that needs to be done at Station 1. There's chairs that are broken. There's other various things, little things hopefully that we can just get done with those funds.
Can you bring in a list with estimates that we could
That-
actually?
That's what I'm working on right now. I just wanted to know if I could
I'm
go ahead and
open-
do
I'm
that.
open to doing that.
Before I went ahead and started getting quotes and getting excited that we're gonna renovate some of this stuff, I needed your approval or your.
That
okay
makes
say,
sense
"Hey,
to
yeah,
me."
Go ahead.
Makes
Because we
complete
do
sense.
have other quotes on, like the flooring, gear racks and stuff like that.
I appreciate you looking at finding a more practical way to fix the doors more
Yeah.
economically. And if we can reuse money in other areas, that's a great idea.
That's what I'm hoping for. So I just needed your approval on that.
Do we
Did
need
you
to
set
make-
any money aside to paint the jams, get them sanded down?
So that was part of it. Has not been included in anything, but that was one of the things, the steel and the jams. included in the $3,000 quote was replacing all the weather stripping that wherever it needed to be replaced is going to get replaced in that quote.
Okay, so included in that will be to get the rust out, you know, get
The
the
rust is
mechanics
going to be a
right.
separate quote, so it's probably going to be a few $100 or $500, $600, $700 to bring somebody out, grind that rust down, and repaint it. Because there's other stuff that needs to get painted, so it is not included in that $3,000.
But you'll set money aside for that then?
For sure, 100. If you allow me to use the rest of the funds, yes, 100%. That will get corrected.
Well, I don't want to be misquoted. I wouldn't say that. I would say come back with an estimate so we can reallocate the funds here and make a decision here. But I would be open to you doing that, but I wouldn't just say, yeah, you have 31,000, just spend it however you want. That's not what I would.
It's not what I'm doing. I'm spending it on maintenance.
No, but I would
items
say
that need to be
bring what
corrected.
you want to do back to
Correct.
us.
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
While we're talking about that, I gave you this sheet, it's not actually on the agenda, but the high-tech block hours, and he has to have, you're getting 3 or 5 new computers.
We will be. We're going to start upgrading the computer systems.
So our program, our
Station.
plan doesn't include the setting those up and all that extra, and we're down to 22 block hours. So this is an estimate from high-tech block hours, and we can vote on it next month, but I just wanted to present it to you, and I should reserve those hours at this year's price. If you're interested in that, I can go back to them, and then we can vote on it next month, because it's not on the agenda.
We definitely have to have them, right? No,
Yeah.
we
Do we
always
have an
go-
estimate how many block hours we use?
Yeah, I'd like to know.
Well,
too.
that's
But these
gonna use
block
up a
hours,
lot.
these don't expire though, do they?
Exactly.
So I mean, so as long as we're high-tech,
And Rhonda's reaction was, you save money at this price, so you should go for that price. But, since she's handling the money. But I didn't want to make the decision in the end, so if you guys have a feeling one way or the other, we can vote on it next month. But I need to reserve the cost.
Yeah. I mean, we've approved it every
did we
time it's
budget,
came in
did we
front of us.
budget a certain amount of block hours? in the budget?
No, it's hard because we don't know what we're going to use.
Right.
I'm not sure that we did because we bought some this year and thought they would last, and
Is there any, I guess it's a discussion for that time, is there anything we can do to try to help save block hours at all?
well, they last forever, so, as long as we're with high tech.
Because the block hours are used for those one-off type things that our subscription service doesn't cover.
Right, exactly.
But do we have any feeling for what we're gonna need in the next 12 to 24 months?
No, it's hard to
Those
predict, but
one-time-
Is it refundable?
no, but they don't
No.
expire.
They don't
so-
expire. Yeah, I don't have a number on that, Mike, either, to understand how
And so
many
what he uses
block
will
hours we're going to need.
come out of his budget, and what we use will
Right.
come out of ours, so.
Yeah, I'm all for approving block hours, but it's just, how many do you wanna buy,
Yeah,
right?
but you can see this offer here expires on 31st, so.
So do we have to vote on it tonight to lock this in, or will he lock this in and we
He
can
will
vote on it in January?
lock it in and we can vote on it, but, you gotta tell me which one.
What do we normally, we're getting 50, is it, or 25?
I think we need at least 50.
What do we normally been
Susan,
getting?
those are based on hours.
They'll get eaten up. in a hurry.
Probably,
50 hours is not a lot.
it's not a lot, and there's a lot of upgrades coming, or at least we hope.
And they don't expire, so Rhonda was fine with the 13. I mean, she thought it was doable.
She thought the
so-
100?
Is that the max?
6250 more, if you get another 1,000, you get 50, we'd save $1,000 by jumping up that way alone.
Is that the maximum package?
Mhm. Oh, you want more?
No, I just.
Well, how
I
many
don't-
block
I don't
hours
have
do
it
we
in front of
typically
me, I'm
use in a
sorry.
year, do we know?
I don't know, and every year varies. I mean, I don't
Right.
know that there's an average. I could probably get that number for you from that, but meanwhile, I should, reserve.
I like the idea of saving 1,000 and just
We should reserve the top, the 100 hours and then downgrade if we have to at the discounted price, maybe?
Good question.
No, I think we have to commit. I mean, it's the end of the year, they're trying to sell, what they can at the end of the year, and
I mean, the good thing is that they don't expire, and eventually we are gonna use them. We're just gonna have to
No, it's like,
allocate. the
that's a
upfront
no-brainer
cost.
then.
Might as well then go
Yeah.
with the top one.
I do.
Make a motion to go the 100 hours time blocks.
We don't, I don't think we make a motion.
we
for
can
them.
if you want.
You can.
Yeah,
It's not on the agenda.
I
is
mean,
it?
100 hours is 2.5 weeks.
yeah.
One person labor.
Are we gonna put that under the,
Well,
ARPA funds? Oh,
we do have some money, can we use the ARPA funds for that?
I don't know if you could use ARPA
no,
funds
no,
for,
I mean the motion, I mean, we don't have it on the
Right,
agenda,
true.
so I don't know if we can
That's right as
actually,
well. Okay, I'll come back with something
okay,
next month.
yeah.
So
but will he lock these prices in for one more
Yes.
month? Okay.
I'm okay to move forward on getting
Sorry.
pricing on,
Yeah,
Didn't mean to steal your thunder.
okay. No.
Yeah.
okay, I
yeah,
just wanna
Go
make
ahead.
sure.
yeah. Get your,
It's not gonna be used for anything
Estimates,
other than
right.
maintenance and things that we could,
I know, I've seen
we could really,
pictures.
that we could really use.
Right.
So I'm not gonna, I mean, it'd be great that I could use it on upgrades and
thought
stuff
they
like
loosened
that,
up
but
some of
that's not what those funds were allocated for.
Right, I can come back with that.
Okay.
Chief, thanks
To
for
be for
your
improvements.
continued diligence on,
Yeah,
Thanks,
that's really
Chief.
all
exciting
that
to
you've
have all that
done
work done for
and
the same
continue to
amount.
do.
Yeah, thanks for finding a more practical way to accomplish it.
We don't have any action then with the ARPA funds then? Or do we have to make motion to go ahead and reallocate the funding? Did you put a motion, something that?
Mike brings up
No.
a valid point. He wants me to come back with a full list. I just wanted
We're just
to
giving
make
Steve
sure
that we're okay
going
with it.
ahead,
We're okay with them doing it
That I'm
then.
okay to go ahead and do this.
He'll bring it back in
So-
January.
And that's when we'll make the
As
These
you
motion.
funds are all they were
Takes a long
done, they were
time to
just
get
put
quotes
aside.
and
Uh,
get people out.
Just put aside, we never
Yeah.
voted on anything.
Yeah.
What about that 1%? I mean, is ARPA funds actually used up? I mean, because we can,
Pretty much there.
We just have a little bit left.
Yeah,
I think you have to commit by the end of '24 and spend.
Yeah,
by
we
the end of
submitted the
26, so we still
paperwork.
have time.
yeah, okay. By the end of '24 and the
You have to,
'23?
you have to have it committed by the end of '24, spent by the end of '26.
right.
Oh, to get the 1% rebate?
No, no.
We're
he's
talking
I don't know
about,
about
He's
that.
just talking about the rules.
The rules of ARPA funds.
But what you did send me, that's correct. You gotta
End of
have-
2023.
You gotta have it all spent. If you have it all spent, you're allowed another percent.
Really?
so we're looking at picking up maybe another 9,000, but it's, like Frank said, I think that expired on you gotta have it spent by the end of 2023, which if we have still ARPA funds out there
No, I think it was
End of '24.
in the 24.
in order to get the 1%?
Yeah,
Okay, well, then we got time.
yeah, we got time. Yeah.
But we already submitted for it, right?
Submitted the form, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right,
Good to know.
so I guess, is there any action?
No?
No action.
The Chief will come back next month along with,
I hope next month, because again, it's been pretty difficult to get contractors out and get quotes.
then we're gonna bring this back for,
Yeah.
okay, sounds good. All right. Let's move on to item 7E, which is our corrective action plan for their retirement health care, our OPEB. So, this is something we got to do for the state of Michigan every year. They send out a form. Rhonda kind of went through it, and she answered the questions that, it's kind of self-explanatory. You read the questions and seen the answers that were being marked off. We sign it and send it back into the state, so it's kind of something we have to keep up with the
Wait,
state.
are we on E or F?
On E, the OPEB,
Okay,
other post-employment benefits.
okay.
So, but we, obviously they had that issue with the state of Michigan. The state of Michigan's been kind of monitoring what we're doing, and this is part of just keeping the state of Michigan informed that we're staying along with what we had originally agreed upon.
So the state of Michigan gets involved if you're under 40% funded, is that correct?
That I don't know the answer to. Like, does it say in here somewhere?
I'm not sure. 40%, yeah.
40%.
So by,
45? Okay, go ahead.
So in 15 years, we'll hit that threshold. And in 25, 26 years, 25 years will be fully funded.
So there,
On the corner.
yeah, I mean, this
Yeah,
is,
but we didn't get to this position in 1 or
In
2
1 or
years
2
either.
years. Yeah, it took a
So
long
to
time
dig
to
out of
get
it
us
takes
there.
time too.
Yeah.
Okay, so that we just have to, this is an annual thing we got to do, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Because of the position we're in?
And she already submitted it, so we don't even have.
Oh, okay. FYI?
Yep.
We may have to look at our contributions in the near future, just give you guys a heads up, okay? But there may be a possibility we might have to increase it, depends on, I don't know, if you want to just call it the market and how things are doing,
Yeah.
I guess, so, okay? All right. Let's move on to 7F, which is our poverty exemption policy and guidelines. It's another annual thing that we have to, show our worksheet that we put together. This is our 2024 worksheet. Again, pretty self-explanatory. I did ask approximately how many poverty exemptions do we have in the township, and right now primarily just have one. With disabled, I think maybe 20. So just to kind of give you an idea. And then it's, basically you can see the breakdowns on how, we have to, we can't go under the minimums on the chart here. We can go over on it, but we stay pretty much with what the chart's recommended, the reduction calculation. So that's pretty much it. It's just the annual housekeeping. I'll make a motion to go ahead and approve the poverty exemption guidelines as for 2024 as presented.
I'll support.
Worked by Lisa. Do we have any other discussion? If not, could we get a roll call, please, Anne Marie?
Kraft,
Yes.
DeGiorgio,
Yes.
Trumbull,
Yes.
Craven,
Yes.
Gilbert,
Yes. Okay, let's move on to item 7G, which will set a budget workshop. Any suggestions? Is that it all in the, you look at your calendar?
January?
I think sooner than later, I think, because during the day, we're gonna try to have it.
That makes it tough for Lisa.
What day are you looking at?
January what, Susan?
Oh, well, we'll want Ron to be there, so it'll have to be a Monday through Wednesday.
Perfect.
Our next meeting is the 17th.
Why don't we try for January 10th?
January 10th?
Okay.
What time?
Um,
2?
Works for me.
2 p.m.?
Sounds good.
No.
I mean, this is like the initial kickoff, which is
Right.
normally not a real taxing meeting.
I'll do what I can to attend.
With that, though, we need to start, I said this, I don't know how many months ago, and we still haven't had a meeting. We need to have quarterly budget meetings, up to find out where we're at, what we're doing, where we're going. I mentioned this before, and it just keeps falling off the table, so I don't know if I need to make a motion, or next meeting I will present a schedule that we could all agree on, of when we're going to meet 3 times,
I
3
think
or 4
that's
times
prudent.
a year.
I think it's prudent too.
Yeah.
Frank, I'm in.
I mean, we kind of get an
support of that.
idea on our budget with our, we get it in our packet, where we're at, kind of,
Right.
and it kind of keeps us informed to that extent, but I mean, maybe if there's, do a little deeper
But I think
dive into it and take a
What,
look
Frank, what
at
you're
it.
doing is like to
Yeah.
make a formal, once a quarter,
Yeah,
take the pulse of the township, kind of.
yeah, I agree.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but it's, just saying, it's not like we are not aware, we are made aware.
Yeah, we are aware, but again, like Mike said, take a pulse of the township.
I know in business, we used to do it monthly. But we're much smaller, so quarterly's probably great.
Well, why don't we make the motion to go ahead and set the budget workshop and let us talk about maybe putting something together for the,
That's fine.
Yeah.
so we're looking at January 10th at 2 PM. Susan, did you want to make that motion?
Need a motion?
Motion to go ahead and set the budget workshop for,
I don't think
You
you
need a
need to.
motion?
oh, yeah, I think it's open, yeah, I think we
Well,
will.
mean, you have to notice
We'll
it.
notice it, but
Yeah.
we don't have to make a motion, just
Just
notice
set
it.
it January.
I'll let Amy
You're the
know.
clerk, so, all right.
Gives me a lot of latitude.
Well, yeah, okay, so no motion there either. We'll move on to item 7H, which is our set of public hearing for CDBGs. So I will make that motion. I'll make motion to set the public hearing for the CDBGs. That's our community block grants for our January 17th board meeting, 2024 at 6 PM.
Second.
Second by Tremblay. If there's, anybody have any discussion? Not, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes.
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 Yes. Moving on to item 7I, set another public hearing for the Wilco Plastics. I got a motion here. Motion to set public hearing for Wilco Plastics for their IFT for January 17, 2024, 6 PM, Bruce Township Board of Trustees meeting.
Support.
Support by Lisa. Any other discussion? If not, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes.
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 Yes. Move on to item 7J, which is our orange cloud. Frank, it'll be you.
Yeah, currently we were paying, I believe it was like $27,000 a year to have Comcast, along with all the phones.
Roughly.
Yeah, and iCloud has told us they would come in and, seeing that they, they are one of our tenants on the tower, and or on Orange Cloud, I'm sorry. They would, because they're tenants on one of our towers, they also provide free wireless internet guest services here for anybody that wants to sit in the park. They would provide us free internet to our township. And the phones, they came up with a plan on phones that was a large substantial savings compared to what we were paying. So all in all, it's going to cost us, what was it, like $4,000 a year, I believe, versus a 27. It's going to be like a $18,000 savings per year.
Combined between the township and
Yeah.
and the department.
Yeah, between the township and the fire hall. We're going to have separate bills,
8 to
They're gonna be-
12,000 for the fire department.
and 4,000 for us.
How much are you guys going to save?
8 to 12,000. So I thought it was already in motion that they were.
It is in
The
motion.
internet, we had to work on the phone portion of it. So we also found out that, we could downsize on some of the phones and things like that. So it's,
Does our existing Comcast contract have a firm
So-
date or?
It does, one contract does, but it's going to
One.
expire in the spring and
in April.
in April,
Actually, no, I'm sorry, March.
March, yeah. So we got to give them,
The other two contracts are expired.
Notice.
One has already been canceled on the fire department side.
I'm just saying that,
There's penalty.
are we doing this, are we going to do this immediately, or are we going to wait until the contract expires?
no, they're going to go ahead and install, and then we're going to give it some time to make sure everything works properly, then we're going to cut it off.
But are we cutting off when our Comcast expires, or are we going to?
It could be.
Probably before, it could be before.
sooner than that.
Just the savings alone is going to offset.
Do we know what the penalty is if you
There-
cancel early?
From what I understand, there was no penalty.
Right.
Typically, they'll charge you the remaining months that are
Yeah.
left.
But there is a penalty
So-
for phones, isn't there? That-
Phones, there is a penalty, but it's, again, the savings is going to offset.
I know on the fire department side, our bill's a third of what we were paying. So, like Frank said, the savings within the first 2 months for the one contract is going to be minimal.
I don't know how Comcast survives, options like this. their prices just keep going up.
Do they feel pretty confident that the,
Mike, on the fire department side, we're about
Yeah.
$1,100 a month for just Comcast.
And what's it gonna be under Orange Cloud for you per month?
I believe it's about 200.
Really?
Yeah. On the phone side, which I was not aware of until me and Frank started discussing, it's probably another 500 a month. So it's worth it for us to just move forward. If there are penalties or fees, just take care of them. Orange Cloud's been great to us, so hopefully it works out.
Yep, they have been. They've been
Everything
very
we've
good,
asked.
Is that something we have to vote on, or can the township just?
I think it's already,
We already did it.
We already did
It's a
it. It was
savings
more-
of
It's just-
This is
Give it
FYI.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah, well, thank
FYI.
you.
Yeah.
we, they feel pretty confident in, I mean, we have outages, I mean, or downtime, or they're pretty solid, they got a
Yeah.
backup plan on this?
Yeah, so they actually have a generator that if the power goes out, it kicks on immediately.
On our end, Mike, they're gonna put a generator here.
A big one? Like we were looking at 80,000?
No, it's
Sorry, that wish list is.
For other things?
Sorry.
one that would probably last
It's
about
Christmas,
48 hours.
it's Christmas
but not
time,
that
but
good.
it's not that good.
It's Orange Cloud, not Santa Claus.
Yeah.
It's
One of the
it's
elves
a
is coming by,
generator
not
that would
Santa.
last about 48 hours.
Along with our backup that we already have in there. So and we're gonna be dedicated is what they're telling us. So
I ran
the
into.
Township, Station 1 and Station 3 are gonna be dedicated. We're gonna have dedicated service and a dedicated internet service.
They have enough
providing-
bandwidth, I'm sure you've checked all that from what the current.
We're still up in the air on the bandwidth. We're gonna start a little bit high, and we're gonna work our way down.
Yeah,
So is this a voice over IP solution, and Comcast was also?
Yes.
Yes.
Good work.
I ran into a resident at grocery shopping last weekend, and probably about 3 months ago, they were trying to get internet, and they need some sophisticated stuff because their husband works from home. He downloads a huge amount of files. So they got with Orange Cloud set them all up, and her husband is just ecstatic over the service. They had a power outage one day last week, and immediately they lost like a blink of an eye, and it came back on. But right away, they got a phone call and an email letting them know, hey, power did go out, we're on it, the generator kicked in. So they're being very communicative immediately.
Didn't we have a few months back, some residents were complaining about the service?
You know, that was a
Just because
resident
of
that
the
wanted
street
us to
coverage.
install a $10,000 telephone pole in his backyard to service 4 people. We told him we can't justify only 4 residents or 8 residents getting, spending that kind of money and only servicing 8 residents. If it was a whole 100, 200 area community, yeah, we could probably justify that, but for 8 residents, it was impossible.
So we still have pockets in the township that aren't adequately served.
Yeah, but very, very few.
Which I think they're working on.
They're
right
working
now.
on it.
Even based
Yeah.
on us coming on board, they're adding here, they're adding up at possibly Station 2. I think
Okay.
some of that, hopefully,
Yeah.
will help those residents. Not 100% sure on that, though, but we did discuss that.
Cool.
Any more discussion needed?
so we have to
Great
have
job.
a motion or not?
Nope.
No.
Motion, just communication, right?
Yeah. Thanks for sharing.
Thanks, yeah,
Thank
thanks
you.
for both
Thanks
you
for the
guys
work.
working
Great
on
job.
that. Yeah, appreciate it.
Anytime we can save.
Well, the chief's discovered some things
Getting the
over
same
there.
for less.
Right. That mean we'll probably get rid of some of all the wiring we got in here? Freaking
The whole-
Getty factory. Why the building doesn't fall in with all the
So part of
wiring?
that package also, they're installing all that for free. It's part of the package.
Right.
That Frank worked on. So the piping that we did put underneath, they're gonna run the fiber optics from Station 1 to Station 3.
Okay, thanks. Now let's move on to item 7K, our 2024 to 2025 meeting schedule. I'll make a motion to go ahead and approve the 2024 to 2025 meeting schedule.
Board?
We have to
Hang
do
on.
it, yeah, we have to do it contingent upon.
But we have to modify this to 7.
I think it has been. I wanted to point that out to you, Mike. If you look at your planning commission dates, there's some of them dates have been
No,
moved.
planning commission's fine, ZBA is not.
Well, bring me up to speed on it. then.
Planning commission amended our bylaws to make it 6 o'clock, the ZBA has not. So the ZBA meetings will be at 7 o'clock until we update our ZBA
Okay,
bylaws. So I think we have to publish it
yeah,
at 7, if we're going to
Okay.
publish it now, and then when we do amend our bylaws, which won't be in January because we don't have a meeting, it could be February or March.
yeah.
So I'd say publish it at 7 for the ZBA, and then
Okay.
leave the other two. So if you want to do it as modified, I would support your motion.
And it has to be renoticed, so,
It'd have to be renoticed.
We have to renotice it.
well, for the ZBA.
But for now, we can't make it 6 because the bylaws have.
So can we, you want it, so how do you want it to say then? We're just, as,
The ZBA needs to be 7 PM if we're going to notice it.
So this is good for the fiscal year. If you can get it in, we could hold off on voting on this and then just do it once and notice it once. When will ZBA meet, you think?
We have to do this before April?
yeah,
I would say hold off then,
Okay,
because we may meet, I know we're not meeting in January, but maybe in February.
if only to do that.
I want to point out, what I was trying to say, Mike, is that there's 2 dates, one in July of 2024, one in January of 2025, where the dates for the planning commission meeting, they have to be the second Wednesday of the month.
Right, yeah, I noticed that.
So say it again?
Because of the way the holidays fell,
Uh-huh.
on January 8th, 2025 is
July
the
10th.
second Wednesday of the month instead of the
Oh,
first
that's
Wednesday of
what
the month.
July
Yeah,
10th is
okay.
January 8th, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I noticed that. And our board meeting is the 2nd
So
in
we're
June, is the 2nd.
just gonna, would we say table it till next month then? Till we get it corrected? Or no, we
Well,
can't.
just, you can just, yeah, just, do it, and then we'll-
Yeah.
not next month, but maybe in
Yeah, it's gonna,
February, maybe?
Yeah.
we gotta
maybe
notice
February.
it. I don't even know when the next
No, it'd
ZBA
actually be
meeting's gonna
March.
be, though.
Yeah,
Because
because
we
our,
have-
our February ZBA meeting would be the 26th, would be after our February board meeting.
Okay.
So we're still going off our old schedule till April anyways.
Yeah,
Sounds
Wait, did we notice the township board meetings are now at 6?
we have already.
All right, we'll move on to item 7.
I mean, not the board meeting.
So I made a motion, so I have to rescind it, or? it never-
someone
It just
support?
drops anyway.
Yeah.
If it doesn't get supported, that
Yeah.
dies.
Dies, it died. You squashed it. So. All right, item 7L, which is our 2024, 2025 holiday schedule. I'll make motion to go ahead and approve our 2024, 2025 holiday schedule as presented.
Is that driven by contract? Union contract? Is that how our holiday schedule comes up, or how do we come up with our holiday schedule?
I think part of it is driven by union contract, but I believe the Christmas holiday, I think they've always been closed.
But it surprises me because we closed today, the 20th, and on here it's not till the 24th.
I think it all depends on when, there's so many days you have, by union contract, you have to have off. That's why tax bills are collected at the bank and we have a drop box.
The reason I ask is I looked at June 3rd and 4th is 2 days for the Independence Day. I wondered if that was union contract driven. Because normally you just get the day off.
Amy puts this together. She works, I know she puts a lot of time in on it. But good question, Mike.
Yeah,
but,
that's all. I was just curious.
s-
I mean, the others all look like bank holidays, other than the Christmas stuff.
Is Juneteenth a federal holiday now?
It is.
Yes.
It is.
I don't don't know the answer on the July 4th and July 3rd. I know one of the municipalities I worked at is the day before, the day after, and if it fell on a day off, then it would be the following. I think it's something along that line, so.
Yeah, it's just,
But I do have a motion to go ahead and approve. We can get that answer for you.
We had July 3rd and 4th off this year.
It's how it's scheduled for next year, maybe,
Yeah.
like you said, as part of the contract. So many
Yeah,
days.
we had, the July 4th was on a Tuesday this past July, and we had both the 3rd and the 4th off.
okay. Okay, thank you.
Does anybody want to support?
Support.
Support by DeGiorgio. If there's no other discussion, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes.
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 Yes. Okay. Moving on to item number 8, which is communications. I'm going to start real quick with one item, and that, something that we talked about before, just to kind of give you an update on where it's at. Frank had brought this up, I think we talked, there was going to be a $2.50 meter charge for all of our meter users, our water meter users, annually, remember that?
Yeah.
But they're proposing to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're trying to put together, I mean, I've got some,
You're talking with the state?
yeah,
Yeah, the state,
so we're looking at doing a Macomb County, trying to put it all together. So we've got some other communities that have already passed a motion to deny, that we, so it's going to be something you'll be seeing in your January board meeting, and I'll put the package together, but it's kind of coming from all of the communities who are looking to do the same thing.
Led by Candace
Yeah.
Miller.
yeah,
Oh,
she's been
she's-
sending us some notices. and
Yeah.
email.
Is that new meter fee?
Yeah.
They're not using the money right now, all the funding right now.
I know.
And it's like, why are they trying to capture more? So that's why we're all going to deny it, is what we're going to try to do. And they're being strong that way. So, and our residential water users don't need another charge, that's for sure. Okay. And go on, Lisa, you want to start out?
I can start.
Okay.
I just have one announcement, and this is, it's hard to say, but after much thought and deliberation, due to personal circumstances, I am regretfully announcing my resignation as Bruce Township trustee effective January 31st of 2024. I just want to say I am so honored and grateful to this community. And it will be, I'm sure that this board will continue to make the right choices for this community and to continue to move forward on some of the wonderful things that we've accomplished in the last several years. And I wish I could stay till the end of my elected term, but unfortunately, it's something I cannot do at this point in time. And I just want to thank the community also for their support. And Merry Christmas to everybody.
Thank you for your services.
Yes.
All you've done, and not just with the board and all your hard work here, but I mean, with the Parks and Rec as the alternate, and I mean, that was really, really tough, I know. So I appreciate all that time and effort there. So we
Thank you.
gonna miss you.
Thanks.
Yep.
Wish you the best of luck.
You're not getting rid of me that easily. I'll still be around. I'm still in the community, and I'll still be voicing my concerns or opinions. That doesn't go away, but I want to thank you all for putting up with me over the years. It's been a great experience working with you. I will be here for the next board meeting in January unless it comes, I'm not sure of the entire process for my replacement, but I know you guys will do your diligence in doing the right thing for the community as you always have, so.
Okay, Lisa, thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thanks, Lisa.
Yeah, thank you.
Do you have any other communication?
No other communications, just Merry Christmas. Everybody have a wonderful and safe.
Too, Lisa, you did an awesome job.
Oh, thank you.
I have tears.
Oh, don't get me started. Thank you. Thank you, Trace. I appreciate that.
Chief, you want to, I don't think we're going to be talking for a while. Go on to the next subject, so.
It's okay.
Chief,
How do I follow that up?
well, I don't know, what are you going to, Let's
Don't
save the
shock us
water
with the same
discussion
kind
for
of news,
later.
Yeah,
okay?
don't,
No,
you
I'm-
better not be going anywhere. We're very thrilled with you being,
I don't have much. You know, you guys can, I did pass out a few things on Romeo.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
FYI for you guys, you can look at. Let me know if you have any questions on that. One sheet is run totals, billing, and a complete breakdown. The other one is the proposed contract to Romeo. The only major update that we have is we did pick up the new Alpha. Not here yet. It was sent to Kodiak, the west side of the state, to get the power structures, and power loaders hooked up. So hopefully that will be here next week. We're going to send another one out. As we pick them up, we're going to get all that new equipment on there, which is great.
And how much
Still
is-
behind on the one that's being repaired, but we're hoping by the end of January.
Just for informational purposes, how much did that cost?
The new Alpha,
Yeah,
I believe, was $320,000.
$320,000
For an ambulance.
for one ambulance.
Correct.
We have a fleet of how many?
We have 5.
Okay. Just want to educate the people on how much it cost them.
The one we purchased that you allocated a few months back was $330,000.
Okay, thank
So
you.
they're all identical. We're trying to keep them all the same. That's all I got. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Great gift.
Thank you. You too. Susan?
The permanent ballot application is on the website, and I kind of want to give you guys a heads up on money that we're going to be asking for a little bit more money for elections. Now that we have these 9 days early voting, it's going to be kind of expensive. I think the state is supposedly paying for a lot of it, but it could be range between $30,000 and $50,000, we're guessing.
Wow.
So, sticker shock there.
Is that just for our township?
And we're
So that doesn't
combining
even
efforts,
include,
too.
yeah, because we're combining
I
Washington.
think
and the village,
Washington,
right?
Stan was here the other day, and he said that he told his board 50,000.
Okay.
And that was a little long. I want to announce that we're going to be closed now through the holiday until the 1st, or the 3rd of January. And if you all notice on the walls, the artwork is gone. Thank you to Marion O'Shalik, who was our last artist. We have another one coming in on the 3rd of January. That's all.
Mike, you want
Sure. Gary Kopp and I finalized with Bob Siebert, the second Amendment Parks and Rec, to address one gap, which was how do you replace commissioners between the first term and the second term. We didn't address that. And there was some question, should they change the bylaws? So those were approved. I think Bruce signed, and it's with Washington. Visit with Washington.
It's all signed now, and.
Oh, both townships?
Yes, it's been sent to their attorneys, and, yeah.
Perfect. So once it gets filed with the county and the state, Bob, then it'll be effective, so.
It's been sent there, too.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So it looks like you guys are good to go.
Move forward with
Yeah.
making some replacements.
Yeah. So you guys should be getting it. You guys should, Parks and Rec should have a copy of that signed too, from Washington. I'll let Gary know that's been signed by both of them.
Thank you.
Planning Commission is continuing to work on our industrial and commercial ordinance. We've been making some good strides and thinking either this winter or early spring, we're going to bring something forward with some changes to, I've been on the Planning Commission probably 13, 14 years, and we've never visited those ordinances, so we're going to bring them up. It was brought to our attention by some of the people that own property here that we need to look at it, and make it a look at it. We want to make Bruce a desired destination for future industrial and commercial customers. I think through some of the efforts in our ordinance enforcement, that we're cleaning it up, and more people are coming out here for both. We get the new Dollar Tree is coming. We've got a lot of industrial development going on here, so it's all positive stuff for the township.
Long ways to go, Mike.
Yeah, but we're
Making
making
strides.
strides. Just let you guys know, there's a rezoning probably that's coming to the township in, the Township Planning Commission rezoning some parcels on M53 in Van Dyke, which will come to us once the Planning Commission's done with it. And then I have, one of our board members asked me to take a look at the Romeo Village meeting with respect to our Romeo ALS contract. And I was a little disturbed by how it was being communicated to the board members. And I would suggest that whoever's on our negotiating meeting, see if they get invited to the meeting, because I think they're being misinformed on what is viewed as equitable. The way you guys explained it with, if Romeo had the same millage rate as our Bruce Township residents, which takes into account the difference in valuation of property, that their bill would be about 1.2 or $1.3 million. And I don't think that was ever I didn't see that communicated to that board. And to me, that is about as fair as you can get, as far as if you were part of the community, if Romeo was Bruce, and this was your millage rate, this is how much you would pay. And that was not communicated very effectively. I was kind of disturbed at the meeting, quite
No
frankly.
matter how you cut it, the amount of money that we're asking in these negotiations
It's
is
very
40% of the cost of running our fire. Doesn't even include the purchase of these vehicles.
So I would just suggest that if you guys could educate that board, if you can get invited to do that.
Frank and I are
that would be
already.
very helpful.
You know, we're planning on going to
Yeah.
their next board meeting.
And then Lisa, you'll be missed.
Thank you.
I,
You will all be missed as well.
I felt honored and privileged to serve with you on the board. You were a very valuable member. You contributed in areas beyond a trustee. And I know you'll be missed. And good luck in whatever your future endeavors are.
Thank you so much.
And then to all the community, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Honor and privilege to serve the Township of Bruce. Thank you.
Frank?
Yeah, it's tax season. We continue to collect taxes at the window. You can drop them off at the banks, drop box. The back of your tax bill clearly explains every step that you need to take to pay your tax bills. They are due by the end of February 29th this year. After that, they'll go to Macomb County for collection. In regards to the cemeteries, the Stewarts of Bruce Township cemeteries received a $5,000 grant from Four County Community Foundation. And we're going to use that money to put cyclone fence around the Goodrich Cemetery. So the whole cemetery will be enclosed. And our blood drive was this past December 7th. The next one is February 1st on a Thursday. We had, out of 54 slots that they had open for us, we had like 47 people that signed up. So it was a pretty successful drive, and they are in desperate need of blood all the time. So the next one is February 1st. Please sign up if you haven't. Lisa, you're going to be missed. You've been a great asset to us, and thank you for everything. And Merry Christmas to you and the entire community. Thank you.
Thanks, Frank. I don't have much more to say other than I would like to talk a little bit about the fire contract, fire DLS contract. Three of them, I mean, basically Chief Nakis, myself, and Frank are all on the negotiating committee. We've met with Romeo, the village of Romeo now, currently 6 times.
6 times.
You know, Frank's got all the addresses. And basically, like Frank was saying, is that no matter how you break it down, 40% of the runs, if you take real parcels in the village of Romeo, divide that by what they pay, take the real parcels in Bruce Township, divide that by our millage that we collect. And factually, you know, we got all the data to support it, that the village of Romeo's residents approximately, you know, pay 50% less than Bruce Township residents do. And to give you an idea, it's pretty much on an average resident in Bruce Township pays around $600 a month, and the average resident in the village of Romeo pays $300 a month. All we're trying to do is make it fair for everybody. Everybody should be paying the same. This year, our budget we were talking about earlier, we're not able to pay our all of our bills, let's just say, for the fire department, we're going to fall short $280,000. That money's got to come out of somewhere, and basically it's going to come out of our taxpayers' general fund. Our taxpayers are already paying a millage already to support our fire and ALS, but we need to bring Romeo up to speed to be paying the same amount that the village of Romeo, or that the Bruce Township residents are, so we don't have to subsidize that fund. And it's, so currently the village of Romeo pays $551,000 a year for fire and ALS. We started out at a 1.3 with our negotiations. We're down around $980,000.
992.
992. At a 4% increase over a 10-year period, we would look at it every 3 years, we would reevaluate it to see where we're at. The chief's done a great job of breaking it all down. Frank's done a great job of breaking it all down. We've given them every stitch of factual information and data that we could come up with, anything that they've asked. And I don't understand why they don't see it in black and white. There's all we want is everybody to pay the same.
And you got to keep in mind, I think Bruce took over Romeo's fire department 25 years ago. I think back then the contract was $350,000. So in 25 years, it's gone up only $200,000. In the meantime, the price of fuel's gone up, material's gone up, labor's gone up, benefits have gone up, and we just cannot sustain, equipment. We just cannot continue to subsidize.
Frank, I don't think it's been 20.
I think it's been
24.
about 20.
We're in the
I don't think it's been
we're in the
that
25th year.
Time goes by, Mark.
Nice, huh?
I thought they did that during Tiganelli's term,
No.
when they took it over.
He was on this.
Really?
On the
This
fire.
will be June 30th will be the 25th year.
Okay. I didn't realize it was that long.
A long time.
Nick and I.
So we're still in negotiations, but it seems to be like there's some misinformation that's being, sent out there. Like I said, we've got all the documents, anything that anybody would want to see. I know the other question that came up, I think it was at the Village of Romeo's board meeting, is that the Village of Romeo was asking, do we actually take 40% of the Bruce Township's runs? And the chief submits to the Village of Romeo every month a run count on how many runs. They shows the addresses and everything, and how many
Every
runs we
call.
made, and it's always between 30 and 40%. And I think that this month, you said it's up near 50%
This year
of
is
the run
actually
volume.
up higher. We're past the 40% mark. But again, that fluctuates. And I think as low as 36, it's been as high as 42. We
Right.
took an average and we said 40% is a good average. Just like the revenue, we took an average on the revenue also. Revenue fluctuates.
And that's, again, based on our documentation, that
We
shows
have
in
three
hard
different ways
numbers.
that we track Romeo and Bruce. 3 different programs. We have to do 3 different things how we collect all this data. And like Mike said, we supply Romeo monthly, what we'll call a call sheet or a run volume. It basically explains every single run that we went, the time we went, when we arrived to Romeo every month. It also breaks down if it's a medical or what we consider a fire. It could say on there that it's a CO detector. It could say on there that it's a lift assist, different things like that. It's completely broken down for Romeo monthly. And that's how we're getting those numbers. We also have another report that when we come in on every call, we track, is it Romeo, is it Bruce? Is it a multiple call? Are we using paid on call? Are we not using paid on call? Are we using full-time? Are we, stuff like that. So we have all this data. Just to reiterate what Mike is saying.
We're going to continue, obviously, to negotiate with the Village of Romeo in good faith to try to do what's best on behalf of everybody. But the last thing I know that this board's going to want to do, and we're not going to do it if we don't have to, is to raise a millage to our Bruce Township residents in order to subsidize the residents in the Village of Romeo. I think it's just totally unfair. They're getting the same service, the same quality of care, and, what else can you ask for? Just everybody's pay the same. It's not hard
Fair's
to
fair.
figure out, yeah, so.
I think you guys just have to educate their board, because their board, I think, is.
I don't know how much more we can. I don't know what we can
No,
supply.
the board. The board.
Well, we're
If you,
planning on going.
if you
with
want to
it.
go look at that meeting, it's a different representation than what you guys
Well,
have shared. I
and that's
think
why I gave you the sheet.
the fundamental thing is if you apply the same millage rate that our people are paying, which takes into account property values, because one of the things they said in their meeting is Bruce's property values are higher than theirs. Okay? Take the same rate to provide the same service at your property values. It's 1.2, 1.3 million.
Right.
That was not shared at that meeting.
Right.
So you guys, if you can, get in front of their board and share with them the truth.
So just for your information, the board's information, the two sheets that I did give you is broken down between Romeo and Bruce. So currently, as of the end of November, the totals are 1,893 calls. That's all-inclusive. 725 were Romeo, and 1,168 were Bruce Township.
That's November?
That's not.
That's from January to the end of November.
Okay.
That's the current 2023 call volume.
What's the ratio?
Yeah, that's a lot higher.
That
than
ratio is
40%.
about 60%,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
60% Romeo?
Unfortunately, yes. And then on that sheet, it's also broken down as what we consider fire, transports, non-transports, and then it gives a total run. So to give you an example, in November, we had 3 fire calls. That could be anything other than medical. Okay. 34 ambulance transports, 17 non-transports, so those could be lift assists or refusals. And total run was 54 in that month. On the Bruce Township side, there was 9 fire, 53 ambulance transports, 30 non, and 92 total runs. That's how it's broken down. They get those records every month. So,
Yeah, every month they get those records.
yeah,
And I mean, the percentages are on there also, aren't they?
right.
So I mean,
The
how
percentages are on there, and also what we're noticing, which I've talked to the board about, is the revenue is slowly declining due to Medicare and Medicaid. We're at 40%, 42% collection rate on Romeo's side, and we're 45% collection rate on the Bruce Township side.
And that's falling every year, dropping
It
off.
seems like it's dropping off. I keep looking at prior history, and it's continually tapering off.
Okay. Other than that, Lisa, thank you very much for everything you've done. It's been a real pleasure working alongside you.
It's been a pleasure
You know.
working with all of you.
Wish you the best of luck. Wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Fred, thanks for coming out tonight. Appreciate it.
Fred?
Treese, always a pleasure. Merry Christmas. Casey, always a pleasure seeing you, so thanks. Other than that, I'll make a motion to.
What about Bob?
Good seeing you, Bob.
Bob?
Bob,
I see Bob. What about Bob?
Bob who?
It's great seeing you too, Bob.
Motion to adjourn at
Second,
8:00, is that 8:05?
8:05. Second.
804.
804.
Support by Tremblay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thanks, everybody. Have a great holiday.
Christmas.
Thanks, you too, Mike.
Yeah, happy.